Go ahead. Turn it up. It's the Record Machine Show with your host, Jimmy Howe.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Downie Street Collective, Andy Allen and Scott Beaudin.
Hey, James, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. That was me trying to call you.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
No worries. I got Scott with me. So I don't know if you've met Scott. Scott's our lead singer, and he's our official eye candy for the band.
Hey, what's up, Scott?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for doing this.
Thank you guys for doing it.
Loving your podcast, man. Like I'm loving the vibe, and just like all the feedback from anybody that's been on it has just been fantastic. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think I stumbled upon you guys on Instagram.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. You did. That's right.
Yeah, I saw an ad for you guys in my feed, and then I looked you guys up, and here we are talking.
Here we are, yeah, man.
So where
ads are paying off.
You know what?
So are those ads expensive?
They are and they aren't. So we hired a guy. I don't know if you're familiar. There's a guy up here we love. His name's Eric Alper. He's just really well known as like an audio and Canadian music. He's the guru, right? Mm-hmm. But he's reached out as like a PR consultant. So we actually hired him. to do a write-up and to do some stuff for us. And it's really been paying off. Can't say enough good things about him as a human and just what he's doing for us.
Awesome. So where are you guys from?
We're in Stratford, Ontario, which is about 2 hours west of Toronto.
Very cool. And you guys lived there your whole life?
I think we're all imports here. I've been here about 25 years. Scott's been here about...
I've been here about 5 years.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. Where are you originally from?
Well, my mom, but I don't know how detailed she wanted to go.
It all started when?
Yeah. There was a really bad movie on TV one night. No, I'm from around the Southern Ontario area, so I'm kind of in and around, like, say, 100 clicks. What is that, like 70 miles from Stratford. I just kind of grew up here all my life.
Very cool. I grew up in New Jersey, and I lived there for 40-something years. And once the kids graduated, me and my wife, we packed up and moved down here to North Myrtle Beach in South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I got to ask, though, because I know it's sort of a bone of contention somewhere. Like, does Jersey, in fact, make better pizza than what New York does?
No.
No? Okay.
The only place I would say that does is if you ever get a chance to visit Hoboken, New Jersey.
Okay.
They make those giant slices. It looks like 3 slices, like in one slice, and it's
what you may lack from a New York quality, you're getting in the Hoboken quantity.
Yeah, and Hoboken's right across the river. It's almost like a mini New York City, if you
nice.
But it's very bougie and expensive,
Yeah.
It's a nice town. I actually have like 2 or 3 friends that grew up there, and I used to go down there all the time. They had some good nightlife there too, like good bars and stuff.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. What about where you guys are? Is there a good nightlife there, or?
Yes and no. So Stratford is considered like an artsy town, but we're more like a theater and a visual arts kind of town. So we have a massive festival that's all about the Shakespeare and stuff like that, and then we do musicals and stuff on top of that. So it's more of that. We have a kind of an ever emerging music scene, but it seems to be more like the youngins are bringing that up and really recognizing and pushing that more.
I guess the genesis of our name, the Downie Street Collective, is that Andy and I, for example, work for this theater festival, and the theater that we work at is on Downie Street. So it is, it just sort of, this festival sort of just pervades every aspect of the town.
Very cool. So the name Downie Street Collective, that's basically the story behind the name?
Well, that's our official story. The unofficial story is we were at a coffee shop, basically on Downie Street across, trying to come up with a name, and one of the original members kind of looked over her shoulder and saw the street sign and said, well, why don't we just go with Downie Street? And then it kind of came from there. Nice.
Now, what inspired you to start writing and recording music?
Well, we had this, we've been a really successful, I would call us a party band, probably since about like 2015, where we emerged out of some other party bands and stuff. And it's changed the vibe and changed where we were going with that. And then when that little pandemic thing happened in 2020, there was nowhere to play. So we had a whole bunch of time on our hands and a lot of angst, and we thought, well, why don't we write something? Because our whole industry got shut down. Like, nobody was going to work. There was no money. There was just like a lot of, what do we do?
Right.
And as creatives, you just we needed an outlet to either like verbalize what everybody was expressing, or just maybe even try to exercise it somehow, because it was eating away at everybody. So at that time, our lead guitarist, who's also my co-songwriter, was living in Kitchener, which is about 45 minutes east of here. Mm-hmm. And so for like the song Analog Man and stuff like that, we would talk over the phone, we would talk over some stuff, get some ideas, and then I'd get on my motorbike and I'd actually like head out to Kitchener, and it was like a total Romeo and Juliet balcony thing where I'd like throw him a USB up to his balcony and he would like adjust some stuff and drop it down, and then I'd go back and do that kind of a thing. So
very cool.
Yeah, Downie Street had hit a point where, not to toot our own horn, but we did feel like we were the best cover band in town, kind of thing, and we had sort of climbed that mountain. And
nice.
Our shows are a lot of fun, and They go on for a long time, and this was the next step to take to prove that we could, achieve what we wanted to achieve and really make the show and make the sound what we wanted it to be.
It was good in a way because we actually discovered that we had something to say and wanted to say something. And, perfect storm, I guess, of just so many bad things happening or good things happening that we could give voice to both lyrically and musically. And so it just kind of, I remember we went into some like abandoned church that was like infested with rats, and we were just like trying to lay down vocals just to get some stuff down. It was happening. It was just like a real magical time, but nobody could really. We could be there together, but we couldn't, have that context of, hey, let's share a headphone, or let's share a mic, or let's share all of those things, right? So one of the first videos that we did coming out of it was for a tune called Living Under Glass, which Kel Surprise is about, the pandemic. But we thought, why don't we have some fun with that? So our video for Living Under Glass is like the 5 of us in a recording studio trying to lip sync with masks. So we just figured we'd just take it and kind of a thing.
That's funny. I believe every band or artist is influenced by someone. Who are some of yours?
We have a lot of Canadian influences. So, if I were to round off names, I would say we were definitely Sloan, definitely Barenaked Ladies, Northern Pikes, Headstones, Pursuit of Happiness.
Kim Mitchell?
I beg pardon?
Kim Mitchell?
Kim Mitchell? I could go for a soda with Kim Mitchell. He's a wild party, right?
I really like Max Webster, who is the band that he played with. Yeah. And they're really great.
His, big shout out to his bass player and lyricist, and I'm going to drop the name now.
I don't know.
Fredette, Peter Fredette. He's amazing. He's that high voice and all that Kim Mitchell stuff, and he just hasn't lost it. He's so good. He's such an amazing human being and such an amazing performer. I love Kim Mitchell, but I would go to a Kim Mitchell show to see Peter Fredette.
My parents' first date was Kim Mitchell.
Nice. Yeah, he's great.
Under the patio lanterns.
You guys like Rush?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love Rush.
Yeah.
Exit Stage Left is one of my favorite live albums.
There was a real
excellent.
moment of silence when Neil Peart passed. That was a huge. Same thing with Gord Downie, Tragically Hip. We get a lot of our inspiration from them too. And when he finally came, there was like there was. It felt like there was an empty hole for sure.
Yeah, I remember when Alex Lifeson was on the that show, The Trailer Park Boys.
Oh my god,
that was so funny.
Truly.
Wasn't Brian Vollmer too from Helix?
Defining moments in a nation's history, and that's one of Canada's.
Alex Lifeson,
post World War II to now, I think that's got to be like top 5.
That thing
when they kidnap Alex Lifeson to make a plan for his birthday party,
and Bubbles is on the top of the car and he plays like dun 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 dun, jacks everybody up. Yeah,
I love that episode, and I think Brian Vollmer from Helix was on there as well.
That's right. Yeah, he was too. I can't remember the role, but he's done some. The character J-Rock used to be like a TV personality here on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, did a kids show, so it was nice to see him doing some other stuff. Yeah, it's a real nice pastiche of like a lot of good Canadian music and a lot of good Canadian culture.
Nice. Now, tell me about the band. When did you guys form, and who were the rest of the players?
So Downie Street came out around 2015, and in full disclosure, I'm going to use some gallows humor just so that that's how I can deal with it. We were a 5-piece. Our singer was a beautiful human being named Valerie Hawkins, who's no longer with us. And our bass player was a gentleman named Sean Smith, who unfortunately had succumbed to some cancer as well. So other members of our team basically just had to reinvent themselves during COVID, so they left. But when we lost Val, we called her our rock goddess. She was this classically, operatically trained voice who, with zero disrespect to Hart, could sing Hart better than Hart did. Like wow. It just you felt it's incredible. We have some video of her doing it, and I think if any of the Wilson sisters heard it, they'd be like, "Yeah, that's what we're trying to do exactly." But once we lost her, there was a huge hole to fill, and Scott gracefully stepped in and picked up the slack and kind of took us into a different direction that we're very grateful for. And then we kind of had a Spinal Tap revolving door of drummers for a while, and we're starting to settle back.
Part of what we really leaned into the idea of Downie Street Collective, and that for, there were a number of years there sort of between 2019 and even 2022, 2023, where the band was just sort of constantly evolving and say, okay, well, we are a collective, and we are a group of this band is not just one person. We're not the Foo Fighters, who are just this sort of singular orbit. That there are lots of people that play with Downie Street and come in and out of the band. Andy is probably the spirit of the band, and the driving. The driving. We're rich in spirit. We're the driving force of the band as well.
But I would say, Scott's been with us from pretty much since we lost Val. Our original lead guitarist had to go away and pursue some other things. His name's Nick Bastian. He's also my writing partner, who wrote Analog Man and a lot of what you're hearing. He's making his way back in, and I'm so grateful that he's back. I think he's just another voice that just adds to what we're doing. Eric Lundgren, came in to fill some very big shoes on Nick's behalf, and he has just blown us out of the water with his talent, his ability, his humility, and he's from Wisconsin, but we don't hold that against him. He's still a nice guy.
That's pretty cool. Now, this podcast will feature two of your tracks, Analog Man and Resolution. What's the story behind those two songs?
Well, Analog Man is basically about a snapshot of how both Nick and I were dealing with our relationships during the COVIDs, where you couldn't actually touch or be with somebody, have that reassurance. There's a great story, and I think part of it goes in there. My girlfriend at the time, I would drive 45 minutes and basically sit in her back patio, and I would talk to her on my phone through a sliding glass door. And so just being that close to somebody and not being able to actually have that physical, visceral connection of reassurance and of, here's how I feel. I can tell you in my fingertips if you could just feel my fingertips, right?
We're also big on the band. We're really big on right to repair laws and things like that.
Okay.
We especially and our co-writer Nick, he loves to take things apart, and we're tinkerers. And we also just are frustrated with big tech companies and the way that they are trying to dictate the way that we live our lives and make everything as difficult as possible in order to, succumb to their tyranny.
Right.
So, I think it was a nice mash of that. And then Resolution came out, or the idea from Resolution was, just being, we're stuck in life, what do we need? There's just so much negativity happening. There's wars happening that, before all this technology, we're like, oh, they're in a different part of the world we don't understand, but we're getting these live updates all the time. These things are happening. There's problems happening economically, socially, politically, on our side of the planet, on all sides of the planet. Nothing's budging anywhere. And the whole idea from it was, we just need to get unstuck. We need some kind of a resolution, a solution to it. But also, it came out around beginning of January, possibly intentionally, with the idea of, if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, want to actually have a life resolution, be the change that you want to see, be all those things. Give yourself the opportunity to just push, to just live, and not, media says this, paper says this,
right.
All this say this. What does life say? What does your gut say? What does your soul say? Push that.
Nice. Both great songs. I love them both.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Now, when composing a new song, what comes first, the lyrics or the melody?
It depends on the song. So Resolution, that opening lick, I think really, really came first, and those riffs sort of came first. And then Scott came in with some really, really, really great lyrics that kind of added to what Nick had done, where Nick was just feeling very, very frustrated in his life and his life journey, and just what Scott brought to that just kind of lifted it to another level.
Yeah, for me, it's nice to have even just a simple musical hook. Doesn't have to be what ends up being the final thing, but just something that I can just sort of sing over and over again. And then I'll just sing that like a mantra, and I'll just hum it, hum it, hum it, hum it, hum it. And then eventually something will emerge, especially if you know, I want to write something about this theme. I want to write a love song or not a love song, or I'm going to write a I hate you song, whatever it is. And it's just repetition really starts to breed an impulse from me. And then you follow that impulse, and then you just have to, I'm going to make a puking sound, something. You put something down on the page, and then one of two things will happen. One, you might like it, which is okay. A lot of creative people don't realize this. You're actually allowed to like the things that you make. Or you don't like it. And if you don't like it, you'll probably know why you don't like it. It doesn't scan well. It's too long. It's too short. It's too vague. Or it's too specific, whatever it might be. It's too sad. Then you can make adjustments from there. But if you're able to just get over that first hump and just get that first draft done, then you're really able to start getting specific, and that's really, really that's the fun part of composing the song, where you try to honor that initial first impulse that you had. And I find for us, it seems like music takes sort of takes the first step.
Yeah.
Lyrics then come out in a more significant way, and then we use music again to sort of refine and fully compose the piece to try and match what's this lyric saying. This line is hopeful, so the melody probably needs to go up when we say this line, or this consonant or this vowel, we really want to hit this at this point in the song. So how can we then use the lyrics in a way that benefits the song?
So I'll come back to that for you in just a second. A perfect example of that. But just musically, if I'm writing a lick or something like that, I wish I could say I was original. We have this amazing band here in Canada, Barenaked Ladies, who in a lot of their songs do like an homage or a love letter to a band that's influenced. You mentioned Rush earlier. Their song Grade 9, there's that great little Alex Lifeson, like little licks and stuff like that. So there's always like a little tip of the hat, right? So when I'm writing a hook or something like that, I try to bring like a tip to anything else. So the solo, for example, in Resolution, and I don't know if I get sued for it now or not, but it's like a kind of an homage to Pink Floyd's "Goodbye Blue Sky."
Nice.
I just wanted to take that with a little bit of like it morphs into like
Sorry, one sec. Yeah, the lawyers are on the phone.
Yeah, sorry. So it kind of morphs from that into like a bit of a Sex Pistols sort of a Liar sort of a riff. So that's the kind of thing. But you talk about lyrics of like which comes first, lyrics or the music. When we funny story. When we wrote our anti-Christmas song called "Christmas Stockings," don't know if you've heard it, but check it out. It's a basically. Our hook on that is what the world needs now is not another. Oh my God! I just read I wrote that and I can't remember it.
Not another Hallmark.
No. Who's the singer? My God, we wrote that. It's Mariah Carey. It was the Mariah Carey Christmas song. It's sort of like the anti-Mariah Carey Christmas song.
Right.
And so what that started out with, which is really funny, is Nick was with us and he wrote something about, oh, here we are, another New Year's Eve, or this and that. And then Scott and I looked at each other, and I played this little, you'll hear it. It's the opening riffy thing. But then we were talking about what happens if it's this guy? What if Christmas for this guy is about meeting a girl and trying to score, but he can't? And then everything became like this anti-commercial, and it's just like one after the other. And in that case, Scott would do like a lyric, and then I'd come up with a riff for it, which is like the opposite of what we would normally do. And then as our tip of the hat in that one, we had these really great band in the 80s here in Canada called Glass Tiger, and they had this like big hit called You're What I Look For, and he sings half of it in English, which is our national language, and then our other national language at the time was French.
It still is.
It still is, but we want to recognize and our First Nations people and their
True.
languages.
Oh, yeah. So there are more
stuff.
official languages. Yeah, sorry.
Exactly. So up until that point, it was like, oh, you're really cool. You've really made it in CanCon if you can sing in both English and French. So we incorporated a lot of like French that neither one of us know very well, other than to get slapped at a bar kind of a thing, and put it in this. Yeah, pretty much like that. So yeah, it's the most. I think for me, it was the most fun song we've ever written. It's just like the most irreverent. The hell with corporations, the hell with like that whole commercialization of what Christmas has become. So if you get a chance, have a tickle.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. What tools or instruments are essential in your songwriting?
We're a pretty guitar heavy band.
Yeah,
I'm a piano player myself, but I think for Downie Street Collective, I think the lead guitar really leads the way for the band. Andy's also really great on from a technical side, and just building patches and editing and the production side. So I would say it comes from guitar,
to a point,
and then also post production as well.
Thanks. Scott's really, really good on the keyboards. In fact, we joke a lot that he can't keep his hands off his organ sometimes. But, sorry, I had to do that. You opened the door.
You can't help yourself.
No, I really, really, really can't. But yeah, primarily I would say guitar. We're starting to bring a little bit more of a keyboard sound into our stuff. Resolution was the first time we'd actually use like a Hammond organ on one of our, and I just love what that layering does for it. There's a bit of Mellotron and stuff in Analog Man that I'm really enjoying. So just that whole. Literally analog, going back to that, the age of the Mellotron, the age of the real analog instruments trying to make something, which is, again, a bit of an irony because we did it in Pro Tools, we did it with all these digital things using real analog instruments.
Nice.
Yeah. I guess, the point of the song is not necessarily that we're anti-technology, but we are against technology being used to remove artistry or to remove the human component of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to track a song or cut in on a song, there's nothing wrong with that. But to say, hey, AI can now just write all the songs, you're missing the point. You're missing the point of a song. You think the point of writing a song is so that you have a song at the end,
right?
Which it's not. It's the act of composing it. Yeah.
It's about how much of a product can you prepare now versus what are you actually saying and what are you actually creating.
Yeah, I don't agree with that AI stuff either.
You're our favorite.
I don't know. It's, when you write a song, it comes from your heart.
I think any real music aficionado, and I'm going to just speak for myself here, but just anybody that's grown up on a real diet of music is going to be able to, at least for the next 10 years, realize that was an AI product. That was written by AI. That wasn't written by a human. It's just, there's a subconscious or subliminal depth and visceralness to lyrics of angst or hope or love that aren't just like chemically pulled from a database.
Something like auto-tune is used on everything now. I think we think pop singers just use the auto-tune. Everybody uses auto-tune, but musicians can hear it. I can hear auto-tune on this nice country song or on this rock song or whatever. I hear it everywhere. And so I think that we are going to learn how to hear an AI song and, keep our ears out for it and boycott those people who try to push that stuff on us. Those snake oil salesmen.
Nice. I like where you went. That's
probably the next single.
Segue to the next single, yeah. Well, I don't want to give it away too much, but what the hell? I was talking to this gentleman who has a really nice worldview, and he was talking about how things can have different meanings. Like he was talking about like in the old days when ships were in peril, right? You would use SOS for save our souls, but it's also the same 3 letters for snake oil salesman or sell out somebody or all of those things. So this single is basically a rip on that, and like how many ways can we say no to that sort of basically selling out and like not being genuine to ourselves? How much commercial paddle do we need to consume, and can we stop consuming?
Right. How do you view the trend of releasing more singles or an EP as opposed to a full-length album?
I love the full length album. I don't hate single. It reminds me of like the 1950s, of sort of how Elvis Presley would put out a bunch of singles. But I do appreciate the art of a full length album. I guess what concerns me in releasing music is just making sure that artists are supported in the best way possible. So if there's a way for artists to fairly release their singles in a way that Spotify doesn't swallow all of it, then 100%, that's fine by me. You know, we like releasing singles as well. Sometimes you write a song that doesn't really work on your concept album about deep sea fishing, which is fine. You can have your deep sea fishing concept album and then release this other song. So it just sort of, it feels like we're hearkening back to sort of the earlier days of commercial music.
My feeling on it is I don't want to push an album out for the sake of pushing an album out. So our singles we've released like one or two over the last, say, 3 years, and we've got enough in our catalog that we could, if we wanted to, you know, all go into debt and rent a studio somewhere and like just push out a product. But that isn't who we are, right? And I don't think that's really anybody that's operating on the wavelength that we are. It's about how does this make us feel, not what is going to push the Spotify or what's going to push the algorithm. If we have something to say and it takes us 4 months to say it, then it takes us 4 months to say it. Because at the end of that 4 months, it's genuine. It's not because a label wanted it or Spotify said, if you don't get so many hits on this song, we're going to push you down the algorithmic platform or whatever else. If at the end of the day we can say what we want to say and have fun saying it, and we can bring people along for the ride, that to me is much better than just pushing out yet another stale product for the sake of having something to push.
What's next for you guys? Any new singles, a video perhaps, or any shows coming up you'd like to mention?
We have we have a show coming up this Saturday in London, which is about 45 minutes away from here.
London, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, yes. Yeah.
The international tour will have to wait.
Absolutely. We've got that. And then we've got a show coming up back here in Stratford at the end of August that we're going to...
October.
I'm sorry, October works even better. Silly time machine. Little stuff here and there, and we're looking to get back into the studio and record this new single that we're hoping to release in January, February.
We have a new producer we're really excited to be working with, so we're going to be, his name's Carl Jennings, and he's really great, sort of a local legend, and we're really excited to be working with him, and we're going to be shooting some music videos for these new singles that we're making.
Awesome. Which may or may not be inappropriate.
Where can the listeners go to learn more about you guys?
Well, we do have a webpage, DownieStreetCollective.com. We're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram at Downie Street. I think one is DSCN 5A. But we come up first in the search engines.
And you can find us on all the streaming platforms and listen to the tunes that way. And then maybe if you're local or if you feel like making a big, long drive, follow us online and hopefully we're playing a show near you.
Is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about tonight?
Honestly, without sounding too sharp, we're just grateful for people like you that are doing podcasts and just getting the word out organically. It just makes us feel so good that we put something out there that not only speaks to us, but clearly spoke to you a little bit and maybe speaks to your listeners. And just if we do nothing more than that, we are very happy people. That's
awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I really dig your music, and I'm looking forward to hearing some more great stuff in the future. Oh, friend, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate you taking the time. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you got my email, you got my phone number now. I do. You could send me a text message or an email, and I'd love to keep in touch with you guys, all right? We would love that. Fantastic. We'd love that. All right, you guys, thank you, enjoy the rest of your day and knock them dead at that show tomorrow night, all right? Thanks, friend. All right, you take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. Night without a resolution. I know the story, but somehow I'm unsure. Don't wanna think about this anymore. I don't like what's in store without a resolution.
The horse has left the barn and he's never coming back. The song remains the same, we're all actors in this play, and it's time for the curtain. Open the windows and the sun came to play. Reach for tomorrow cause we need it today. Finding a better way must be a resolution. The sky's the limit and I just booked a flight. The days grow shorter, could the end be inside? I think we know what's right, let's find a resolution. I think we know what's right, to find a resolution. We shouldn't have to fight, let's start a resolution.
The Record Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Howell Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show. The Record Machine Show.